Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is Monday, September 28th. Welcome to the show today. A very, very inspiring episode today, and that is coming from my heart. This couple that I have on today, their story has just absolutely blown my mind all weekend. I'm talking about Michael and Tanya Trotter from the War Treaty, a group that is about 3 weeks old, new to me. I found out about them listening to a college indie station here, 88.5 in Los Angeles. I kept hearing this song called 5 More Minutes. I was like, what is this song? Who is doing this? It is smoking. The hook was stuck in my head. I knew I had to find the record. Went to iTunes, dug it up. It was not out yet until a few days ago on Friday, but there were a few tracks streaming, and each track, as I dug into it, was just better and better. I got into 5 More Minutes, and then the next track that I loved was the title track, Heartstown. And then I listened to Jealousy, and I was like, all right, I am in. I'm contacting these guys. I must get them on. Of course, if you have been following the show over the years, you know I absolutely love music that is what I would call kind of soul rock. St. Paul and the Broken Bones comes to mind as a group that I had on back in the day. That was the last group that I felt was similar to this in just a monumental, huge sound, an original sound, a sound that you don't really hear that often anymore, especially with this group, the War Treaty. A couple singing together. It was just an immediate love for me. I love this type of music, and it doesn't come around that often. This real, honest kind of soul R&B, just that flavor. And if you want to hear it right away, listen to it and then come back and listen to the episode and buy the record. Came out on Friday, Heartstown. They live out in Nashville now, but I'm going to tell you this. And I told them this. I, over the years, have gotten a lot of emails from people that said, you've really inspired me. I love what you've done. You started comedy at 44 or all of that. Okay. And I enjoy those emails because I love to shout out positivity. But these guys, I'm telling you, Michael and Tanya, their story was inspiring me in a way of like never give up. I can't even believe the hurdles they jumped over. And here they are with a massive, massive record. So dive into the record. Do yourself a favor. And I hope you enjoy this episode. I absolutely loved it. And like I said, the story is going to blow your mind. I told them if it was a movie I was watching, I'd be like, this isn't real. But it is very real. It is very honest. And it is, and most of all, the singing and songwriting is next level. Before we get into it, I just want to give some shout outs to all the Patreoners out there. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. We have 91 bonus episodes up right now. And I'm also doing the Zoom Fest every weekend with all the Patreoners. You can join us. Usually it's on Saturday nights. Last weekend, it wasn't on a Saturday night because I actually had some shows. I cannot believe it. The comedy is kind of opening a hair in in different platforms all over town. And this weekend I did it at the Magic Castle in a parking lot that an old friend of mine, Tammy Jo, who has been supporting my comedy over the years by having me on her shows. She had these shows out in the parking lot, and I'm interviewing her later tonight, and you'll hear all about how this came about on Thursday. I'm going to drop an extra episode. But basically, I was doing comedy in this parking lot. They had a huge stage built, and they had about 100 cars out there each night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was quite strange, but it also felt good to get some words out of my mouth and get myself out of the house to avoid some deep depression. And it felt good. I put on some civilian clothes. The sweatpants went to the corner. I showered. I put on my favorite pair of boots and headed down and had some fun. So thank you, Tammy Jo, for that. And I can't wait for you guys to hear the episode on Thursday on how she put this together, because it was a lot of work and it was very cool. Okay. I love you guys. A lot of great episodes coming up. I recorded 7 podcasts this week alone, and all of the guests are just really cool. Also, the second podcast, all the handmade stuff, it's just about ready to be launched, and I'll let you guys know the name, and I'm going to have some t-shirts and everything. So all the handmade episodes will be under one platform for now on, one umbrella, and I'm looking forward for you guys to dig into that also. Okay, let's get into it right now. Here they are, The War and Treaty. Enjoy this story and buy their record. Candles are lit.
Hi.
How are you guys?
How are you?
We're doing great.
It's fantastic, man. I am, introduce yourselves.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Tanya.
And we're the War and Treaty.
I mean, your new record's coming out, but I got to tell you, I didn't know anything about you guys until about, I say 3 weeks ago. There's a radio station here, 88.5, The Independent. It's a college station. You know it?
Mm-hmm.
They are playing the hell out of your single 5 More Minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this is a great song. Who is this? And dug into it and really, I can't even believe your story. You know, I mean, I'm sure you guys are burnt on telling it, but it's unreal, you know. Give a little background on you guys, wherever you want to start.
Well, we met at a love festival out in Laurel, Maryland, and I heard Michael performing. I was doing a festival for kids, giving away backpacks and stuff like that for the beginning of the school year. And Michael got on stage and he killed it. And after he was finished, I ran over to meet him and I get to know him and just wanted to know, more about him. And we exchanged phone numbers. And I guess it was maybe 2 weeks later, we started working together. So I was working on a project with my brother and just really connected as people, and a couple, maybe weeks later, we went out on our first date. And that year we were married. So, and we weren't doing music. We weren't doing music together. He's the man.
I love your glasses, by the way.
Oh yeah.
What do you say? Those are your what?
These are my spying glasses. I spy on God with these.
Spy on God. I love it. They're like an extreme version of Daryl from DMC, like an exploded Cazelle. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Which, by the way, I want to give you guys a heads up before we keep going. I had a microphone problem yesterday, so if it shuts down for a minute, I'll just give you this finger up like this, and you'll know I'm fixing it again. I don't know what's going on. Zoom is
Okay.
a nightmare, but it's great because I get to talk to you guys. Where are you, in Nashville?
Yes, sir. We're in Nashville, Tennessee.
Now,
Yep.
let's get a little bit into the way background of both of you. As far as singers and songwriters, are you guys writing these songs, or are there Nashville teams out there putting these songs together? Because they're unreal.
Michael, his songwriting is as unreal as those glasses that he has on. He writes all the songs. I'm a songwriter too, but I mean, when you connect with the person, we didn't actually start singing together until we were married for about 3 years. But when you connect with the person and you realize that there is this outrageously prophetic, prolific way of writing, then you stay out of the way, of the music, and you just pretty much fall in line and try not to mess up what's already there, So I don't do much songwriting. I add in here and there when he asks me, should we change this, or how do you think this should go, on this, whatever. But it's all prolific. It all comes out of him. Every line, every horn note, every guitar riff comes from this mind of his.
Now, do you write on a piano or acoustic guitar? How do you do it?
Yeah, definitely on the piano, and most of the time, it's a funny thing. I get most songs in my sleep, in a dream.
Wow, that's happened to me before. It's unreal with music and jokes. I woke up this morning, I wrote a joke. I'm a comedian now, but I used to be a musician. And they come from you don't know where. It just you could say God or a universe of artistic, swirls. Get ready, here it comes.
It comes from your backdrop.
Yep, it really does. It really does. Now, it's really crazy to think about. Like I kind of not similar, but reminds me a lot of like Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, what they got together when they sing together. I love that. What's that? Hold on, I got it right here. It was a monster hit. Never Loved at All. You know that one?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Definitely.
Ooh, God, that song's huge. And also, I really love the combo of early Judds, like Grandpa and those, the mom-daughter singing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this really cool thing about two people singing that doesn't happen very often anymore compared to the old days.
Yeah. We took a lot from the book of Ashford and Simpson.
Oh, yes.
From the book of Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we go into like famous songs like Ain't No Mountain High Enough with Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, we really took our cues from them. Ike and Tina Turner. And, it's just to be able to follow that history and to be able to dig in deep and really sing with the one you love, the one you're in love with. And when it's authentic, it comes out that way. And Tanya and I, we're just fortunate to be able to enjoy each other's company. We not only love each other, we actually like each other, and we like doing what we do with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's only a few weeks in the year where she really doesn't like me, but I'm fine with it because she doesn't like anybody in those few weeks.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, let's get into your background a little bit. You were in the military, right? Were you out in Desert Storm, or what era of the military were you in?
Yeah, I was in the United States Army, and I served in Iraq. I went to Iraq 2004, and again back in 2006.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. That's first of all, thank you for that. Hats off. And
thank you.
Was that a particular decision to make because you had nothing going on, or what was happening with that?
Oh, definitely. Like probably 60% of the military is filled with people who have either screwed their lives up or really have no direction. And for me, I had made some terrible mistakes in my life. And one of those mistakes just led to me having a baby on the way.
Wow.
And I was just determined not to bring my child into the world and she not have a fair shake.
Right.
So I joined the Army. Little did I know I was joining during wartime, but I joined and I learned a lot.
Yeah. 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 I think I read somewhere where you, one of your guys died from a bomb, and then you started to sing to ease the pain of the other soldiers. Is this right?
Yes, one of my main guys, he got killed, and I wrote my first song out in Iraq, actually on this piano about that situation, and I wanted to honor him, and I wanted to bring healing to my battle buddies. I could see the pain, um, I could see that hurt, and I could see that fear, and we started being consumed with death to the point to where I would say, uh, you'd wake up thinking you're next. This has got to be the day where whatever happened to Johnny's going to happen to me. And I wanted to find a way to change that narrative. I wanted to find a way to change that. And with my song, I found my way. And I'd sing to my battle buddies. We come off patrol. I'd sing. Uh, Someone get killed. I learn about them like a reporter, and I'd write a song and I'd sing for their memorial. No matter what, I realized that there was healing in my vocal cords and in my songwriting, and that was going to be my way of changing the narrative. So that whenever the guys in 1/6 Infantry would talk about the war, they would say, "Yeah, we saw this and that, but there's this cat who was in the war with us, and man, he soothed us, man. He'd sing, and we'd forget we at war." And that has happened. That's been the thing with my guys. So I'm grateful for that.
Wow. Wow. It's a heavy thing, man, to serve your country. And I never take that lightly. And it's a really weird political climate right now. And I always say, whatever side you're on, we should be on the side of humanity. And you know what I'm saying? That is what
Yeah.
we should be looking out for.
Yeah. I think that it's extremely important to understand that, there's always some things that happen in our world that presents us with the opportunity to unite. And in our country, in the country of America, that normally takes place in the midst of pain. And I think that it's very encouraging to once again see us faced with that opportunity to put down our swords and shields and to pick up arms to hug and pick up ears to listen and pick up the hearts to empathize with one another. And I feel that is very important. And I want to acknowledge you uh, for even acknowledging humanity and saying that because it's so important, especially in these conversations that some people would not want to take place between a white male and a black female and black male.
Yeah.
But we are both one and the same. We're all brothers and sisters. And that's the War and Treaties message.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting thing too, because I was just reading a Bruce Springsteen article in the new Rolling Stone, and he was talking about how his band was half black, half white at the beginning, the E Street Band. And then a couple of the guys left to start a jazz band, and it was just Clarence. And the racism outside of the band, Clarence said, I've never felt racism in the group. It was only outside. And I'm 54. I don't know how old you guys are, but I just cannot believe that this stuff still exists. It still exists, that people are in these ways of like, your skin color is different, so I hate you. I just don't get it. But those same people will watch football, they'll listen to R&B music and hip hop, and they'll watch Eddie Murphy do the Dolomite film.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't understand how they can pick and choose their racism and not understand that, like, this is I grew up in the Bay Area. It's a melting pot. I didn't really understand that stuff until I got to other areas, and it was like, wow. And right now we're going backwards, man. We're going backwards.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty sad, but we live in a world where isms always say rule. Whether it's feminism, sexism, classism, racism. People are, classifications and in some shape, form, or fashion. Living in these isms does something for the person's ego. To make you feel more superior or better or in more control. And I think until we get to the basis of why we're here, as human beings, to experience one another and to honor each other's differences and to love each other, we're going to always go back in circles. My mom was from Panama and my grandmother was from Peru and her mother was from Costa Rica. So I grew up as a African American in America, but I had people that looked like me that couldn't speak a word of English. So I had to honor my lighter brothers and sisters who spoke, Spanish. And I think until we culturally start to understand, especially here in America, that the beauty of us all is that we're different and that we have this wealth of culture that we can give one another if we're just open to it and if we just allow the isms to go out the window.
I think well said, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that again, Dean, the cool thing about the times we're living in and the moments that we are experiencing right now is that there is a major opportunity. And I can say this much: to see white people, and I'm gonna say this, to see white people outraged, to see them vocal about the intolerance of injustice. The opportunity as a black male that I have is to see that. My grandfather didn't see that.
Right.
My uncles, his brothers, they didn't see that. I have ancestors who longed to see that, who longed to see their closet friends come out the closet, come from out of hiding and say, no matter what the risk is, I'm standing up for my friend. This is the opportunity that we're seeing that is happening for us. So there was a statement made by someone. They said, how can I help you as an ally? It was a white young lady. And I said, well, the first thing you can do is to stop seeing me as an ally and see me as your brother.
Right.
See, this is our fight, not my fight, not your fight. It's our fight. And that's the thing. Don't stand behind me and try to help amplify my voice. I want you right next to me, holding my hand as I hold yours, linked and chained. And I want us singing, crying aloud with the voices of our country, saying that we are these United States of America. And that can be achieved if we're honest with ourselves. And if you allow me to say this one thing, I think that the thing that people are doing is they're hiding behind truth. The truth of the matter is there are a lot of black men and women in this country and a lot of white men and women in this country who believe that they are avenging their loved ones who've died and suffered to injustice. So I say, until we tell the truth, until we understand that, nobody wins in trying to get revenge.
Right.
Because that's what people want. They don't want justice. There are some people who really want it. They really want justice. The John Lewises of the earth, and they really want justice, the RGBs and everything like that. But there's a group of people who have turned their hearts over to wanting revenge only. They don't want you to stand with them and hold their hand, Dean. They want your son and your daughter to hang from the trees now.
Yeah.
These are the ones that are in the way of the unification of us, of these United States of America.
I want to talk to you a little bit about 5 More Minutes. I think it's one of the best songs of 2020, hands down. I don't think anything's going to come close to it as far as just, we're talking about a great, great message, but we're also talking about a damn huge hook here. This song is a monster hook. And I know it comes from a dark side. You had a time in your life where it got pretty dark. Is that right?
Yeah, it did. Yes. From me being in the military, I suffer with PTSD.
Right.
And all that time of wanting to heal troops and singing and taking their mind off of the deaths and the pain and the heartaches, I wasn't realizing that I was taking it on. And I wasn't getting the proper care I needed for myself. And so I didn't know how to deal with failure. And I was failing after I got out of the military, left and right, failing. And in 2017, married to this beautiful creature here, and we had a baby in 2011, and now I'm failing again. I can't provide. I don't have a job. No one wants to hire me. I got a lot of pains and aches in my body, so I can't really go do nothing physical. Mentally, I'm drained, and rent was due again. And I remember this was crazy. The amount of rent due was the amount of money in a negative sense I had in the bank account.
Wow.
And I thought about how much better off my family would actually be if I made the choice to end it. They could get some quick insurance money. I just really was sadistic in my thinking, and I was over it, man. I was done. And this particular day, I had a plan, and I was ready. And I like to say in a couple of interviews, I'd say, and then love snitched on me to my wife. And she notified, and this is a very important point. She called the local authorities in Albion, Michigan, and they came through my front door, stood with her, and they all lined up and looked at me. And they didn't have any protective gear, none of that stuff. They had eyes of compassion. And Tanya came and got on her knees between my legs and held my face and said, honey, I know you got a time frame on this. I know you got a plan to take yourself out. But if you would just give me 5 more minutes to love you, just 5 more minutes, I promise I'll give you reason to stay here. And they were like, come on, man, listen to her. And I said, she said, stay with me. Don't leave just yet. Come on. Stay right here with me. Wait. 5 more minutes. And after crying, hugging on her, I said, okay. And I could tell you this much. I gave her 5 more minutes, and that was in 2017. And I'm still living in those 5 more minutes.
Man, what a story. What a story. Now, let me ask you something here that really, how does it start to happen for you guys? Do you do some demos? Are you playing clubs? Are you singing at church? How do you start to get some momentum going from this dark period to a record contract and everything and moving to Nashville? How does this happen?
Well, I had this crazy idea to book us a coffee house tour.
Awesome.
So
I love it.
And so I booked about, I guess, and the tour made no sense. I mean, it was everywhere. We were all over the map as far as driving is concerned with our 2-year-old at the time. But I knew that I wanted people to hear these songs and to get the message of our, of what we were doing, our love and our story. So I started booking coffee houses all around the country, and we would get in our Ford turtle top van with no money.
Yeah.
We didn't have any money, and we were homeless, but we
You were
would pack
homeless?
our son up. Oh yeah, we were homeless. The first, I guess, 4 years of our marriage, And then a couple took us in and didn't, let us pay rent or pay any bills for 3 years because they saw what was inside of us. So we owe so much to them as well. And we would just tour the country in our van. Sometimes one person would be in the audience, maybe 10, and we just kept doing it. We wouldn't stop. I mean, we had nights when we were, our spirits were low because no one was there, but we performed every show like it was 10,000 people in the audience, and we would get dressed up.
A lot of live rehearsals.
A lot of live rehearsals. But we loved it, and we loved the music. And
honey, I'll be honest with you. Shortly after that, in 2017, after that 5 more minutes moment, we ended up getting a phone call, and we ended up getting a manager discovered us, and then Buddy Miller from Americana, the genre Americana, Buddy Miller, great Buddy Miller, discovered us and pulled us in. And we went on this thing called Kayamo, and from there we came home, and Buddy wanted to record an album, and then Americana Fest happened, and Emmylou Harris became fond of us, and the rest was history. Don Was the very first person. Well, Don Was, actually, let me digress. Don Was, I remember this election, the night after the election in 2016. I think it was 2016. Don Was had actually found us. He was looking for us. And so,
right?
Yeah. And we would connect with him. And in 2017, right after
made
that,
the call to Buddy.
He made the phone call to Buddy. And they talked about us, and they had a plan to get us going. And honestly, that's how we got going.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Now, how does Don tell you how he hears about you? Is there a demo tape, or is this all word of mouth?
Well, Tanya we put out a single called High Ho. Back in 2016, and in Detroit, he heard the single in Detroit from a radio station called WDET.
And
Miss Andalisi, she played it, and he called the station. He has a relationship with the station, of course, and he knows Ann very well, and asked Ann who we were and where can he find us, because he wanted us for his concert, and that's what happened.
Wow. I love this story. You guys' story is like, if I saw it at the movies, I'd be like, this is jive. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. They meet at a concert, and he's in the military. He wants to commit suicide. There'd be too many things. And then they're homeless. They're on a coffee shop tour. You'd be like, nah. Any scriptwriter would be like, no one's going to believe all this. We got to just pick one of them. You know what I mean? Because anyone would tap out and give up. This is not real, you know?
Yeah.
It was a journey. It was, we had our, but in the midst of all of it, we kept our love for each other.
And our laughter.
I mean, we would have flat. There was one tire that always went flat on that Ford turtle top van. It was
before that one, that same day we got the phone call from Don Was. We were driving to Maryland from Florida, and we had a Nissan Rogue at the time. And we didn't know there was a recall on the transmissions of those Nissan Rogues. And this Nissan Rogue, we're traveling, and this sucker slowed all the way down to a complete stop. And we're in the middle of the highway trying to figure out, like, what the heck is going on?
That was after the turtle top van broke. We had to get something to keep going, right?
No, remember now. We had the Nissan first.
Oh.
Then we got the turtle top van. And then the Nissan got repoed. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
At a concert.
Yeah,
we were doing a show. We came outside, and our car was repossessed.
Gone.
It was crazy.
My God.
Right in Maryland.
I love how you can laugh about it now, because
we can laugh about it now.
I mean, in this day and age with millennials and everything, they're just kind of like, I didn't get my way, and they just quit anything. It's just unreal. The story just keeps unraveling worse and worse, but through love and your love of each other and art, you keep going, and you've got a child at the time.
Who was with us every step of the way.
He's our hero.
But I tell you what, when it turns, man. And I never forget. Back in July last year, we were signing our contracts because we had just bought our first home together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it completely tripped me out, to be able to go from actually, yes, being homeless to owning your own home in a very nice neighborhood in Nashville, Tennessee.
This
It's
is
a dream come
killer.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you signed the record deal, the first deal, Don was kind of gets this set up and stuff. Because I don't hear about you until 3-4 weeks ago, and I am a person who immediately seeks it out. Like I just hit you guys right away. Like I got to have you on the show. I didn't even know your story. I didn't know if you're black, white, Hispanic, anything. I didn't see any pictures. I just kept hearing the song, and I was like, God, this is a good song. And then I went on iTunes, and I saw the picture, and then I listened to the next song, Heartstown, and I was like, God, this is another monster hit. And I was like, who are these guys? They got a couple records. So how long does it, like the last couple records, I'm brand new to you guys. Did those have some airplay? Did you have success? Were you out touring?
It's funny because we did a lot of underground, but they didn't have much airplay. This is the first situation where we've been with an actual label. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to have those kind of connections and relationships. And but we were very proud of what we were able to do independently.
And we toured a lot
and
too.
We did tour a lot. We did move. We toured with a lot of people as well. We had a couple of shows before this record with the Indigo Girls. They were gracious to take us out on the road with them. Valerie June, Al Green. That was a lot of fun.
Al Green.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then two of our friends, Brandy Carlisle and Jason Isbell.
Oh, Jason's great.
And then next year we're hitting the road with John Legend.
Yeah.
For a 30 city tour.
Now you were supposed to do the John Legend tour and it got pushed because of COVID, right?
Yeah, it's pushed to August 2021.
But this is just insane, like go out on tour with John Legend. It's unreal.
We have something else really funny. Michael was very profound of John Legend. Our son's name is Legend.
Oh.
He's 9. So it's like everything is full circle,
Everything is the universe, baby.
Yeah.
You guys are like the R&B kind of version of Metallica. You're just out doing it yourself, grassroots, pounding on doors. And I work my ass off for 10 years straight, nonstop, 7 days a week with this podcast and comedy. And a lot of people email me all the time because I started when I was 44 and they go, man, you're an inspiration. Because I always say, hey, it's never too late. Go after your dream. If you're not doing what you want to do in life, you're blowing it because all you can do is fail, but you're going to fail if you don't try. And people like you guys right now inspire me because I get into those dark periods of like, God, it's just not happening. And I'm not looking to get famous or rich. You just want to be able to exist and work. I think that the depression and the dark clouds come when you can't work,
Yeah, definitely. When you can't get put out what you were put on this earth to do. When it can't come out of you. It's like shaking a soda bottle, in the moment you do take that top off, it just explodes.
Yeah.
And you have to let it out,
It's unnatural. Anything that is created to create and it's not allowed to create is very unnatural or not allowed to give birth. I mean, think about it. How would you feel if you had to
carry a baby for
10 months?
Oh my God.
You ever seen anybody with a 10 months?
Oh, you were
pregnancy,
evil. Those
11
last 2 weeks, you get evil. It's time for it to come out.
Yeah, man.
Like a 10-year pregnancy I'm talking about over here. Come on, let me have this thing.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
let's get into a little bit about the new record. It's just fantastic. I haven't heard the whole thing. There's 4 or 5 songs on iTunes and all the streaming platforms. It comes out, I believe, October 25th.
No, it comes out
September
September 25th.
Sorry,
This Thursday, right?
This week?
Thursday, Friday.
No, it's
It's this Friday.
Wow. I'm gonna put this out. I'm
flying.
putting this out Monday, so this is great.
This is great timing.
Now let's talk about recording. Where did you do it? Do you play instruments on it? I saw the video. You do kind of have a band. Are those guys that are in the group, or what's going on with that?
Yes, we have a band that travels with us. But we did this record in the studio, and
you did play on it.
And yes, I played the keys on it. I wrote all the songs, arranged them. I worked with a string arranger as well, Dana B out here in Nashville, and our co-producer was Max Brown from Michigan.
Right.
And it was just a lot of fun to work on. And well, I said our.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be you.
I love you guys. Now, how long did it take to track this record? Was it quick or?
No, we took about a whole year.
Yeah.
We've been working on it for a while, and this album was interesting because we actually wrote about 50 songs.
Wow.
And we narrowed it down to 25, and then we narrowed it again down to about 14, and we recorded and only put 12 on the actual album.
I love it. That's all you need, man. I was just talking to Sadler Vaden, who plays in Jason's band.
Yeah,
Yeah. Had him on. He's on the show today. And
nice.
We were talking about how these records just have too many songs, and people do not have the attention span for it. You know, they just don't in this digital world. They're like, oh yeah, you know, this.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm listening to, I believe 5 of the tracks or 4 of the tracks on here, and they're all smoking. So when you wrote the 50 songs, was it a thing where the record company was like, keep writing till we hear these hits, or what's going on?
No, I usually try to write a bunch of songs, and because it's how I feel, you know, at the time, and then the process is to narrow it down to 25, and then test those out on the road, and then narrow it down again, and just keep chiseling away until you finally get a body of work you're proud of.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is you said you didn't really write songs until you were in the military, and it's wild. I mean, this 5 More Minutes is a fine crafted hit, man. I mean, when you wrote it, did you realize this is a monster?
No, I was just trying to be honest. You know, most of the songs you write, I think when you intentionally try to set out to write what you would call a hit, I don't think it works out. No,
never.
It fails.
But I do know when I'm writing tunes, and like the next day, it's in your head, and you're like, I think I got something here.
Well, I wanted to be honest, and and intentional about the demographic or kind of person this song in particularly would reach if I just got a chance to tell the story, you know. And this song in particular is meant to pick the spirits of the downtrodden up, you know, intentionally. And so I did know the magnitude of that moment, you know, and I am grateful for the airplay it is getting and for the attraction it's getting to people like yourself. And this is a blessing to be able to talk with you.
Oh God, it's great. You know what I think would be a fantastic tour would be you guys and St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Oh, that's our boy.
That's our brother, man.
I know.
We probably wouldn't make it through the tour because we'd probably try to find every WWE event areas around our area.
Yeah.
I had him on the show probably the first 6 months, just like you guys, that I heard the music, and I was immediately like, who are these guys? I must have them on the show. And I just am a huge fan of what I would call soul rock, where there's some rock and roll in there, you know. There's a rock and roll feel to 5 More Minutes, and then also an R&B feel. And I think that just the crossover is just, I mean, I'm talking about 88.5, which is an independent college radio station that is well respected out here in LA, and they are playing the hell out of it. So I as soon as I heard it, I go, this band, once COVID's over, they're going to be at the Hollywood Bowl. And I'm going to be like, I was talking to those guys 2 years ago. You know what I mean? I just see it. I can just feel the white women out there with their wine. 5 more minutes.
Wow.
And then the young hipsters like, man, this guy can sing and that woman can sing. Oh, I love it. It's got a crossover. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about your guys' early days. I don't know where either of you guys grew up. And what were you listening to? Was it gospel? Was it any rock? Was it R&B? What was happening?
Oh, I grew up in Washington, D.C., right outside of Washington, D.C., county called Prince George's County. And I was listening to everything. My mom, as I said before, is Panamanian, so I was listening to Celia Cruz and then the Baptist Church, every Sunday morning. And I was classically trained, so Leontine Price and Kathleen Battle on the classical side, and of course Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner and Bette Midler and Barbara Streisand. Those are all my favorite girls right there. So I was listening to everything. Whitney Houston. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And the male artists, Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
My mother loved Lou Rawls. Growing up. So it's just a plethora of artists that, the music was just flowing through my house all of the time.
Yeah. I actually grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born.
Wow.
And I listened to a lot of gospel. I listened to a lot of James Cleveland, Thomas Whitfield, Aretha Franklin gospel, and Mahalia Jackson. And then I discovered the music of the genius of Ray Charles and Mr. Johnny Cash, who quickly became my 2 favorite artists of all time.
Wow.
And so that's the music that I was surrounded by. Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, the class of Ella Fitzgerald, and the power of the intellectual power of Nina Simone. And these are just names and styles that I don't want our country and our people to ever forget. Duke Ellington. You can't forget Cab Calloway. You cannot forget Sarah Vaughan.
Yeah.
And Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
God rest her soul. And so I would say that these are my aunties and uncles that reared me up in the music.
Yeah. I was such a my thing was 70s R&B. And Earth, Wind and Fire. Curtis Mayfield. I think Curtis Mayfield's one of the all-time greatest of all time.
He is so underrated.
He is so underrated, and his songwriting, his guitar playing, his singing. It's a triple threat. Unreal. Even you get into some other stuff like Lakeside. Commodores, early Commodores, all of that stuff is just unreal. And it all comes down to songwriting. That's really, we wouldn't be talking about anybody without these great songs,
Nope.
And it's unreal that you guys have these smokers. You know what I mean? Like, I just love it. It's just like, wow, man, you guys have some amazing songs here. Now, how do you like the Nashville machine, and how do you like living in Nashville? What's it been like for you guys?
Well, we, before the pandemic, we hadn't been home. We bought, like as we said before, we bought a house, but we were never home. So the pandemic has actually given us an opportunity to get to work in Nashville. Like, we're at a studio right now doing a session for a special project. And this wouldn't have happened had the pandemic not happened. So we're getting to know our people, meeting new people and learning the culture of collaboration that happens here in Nashville.
It's massive there. It's massive.
Huge. Yeah.
I got a lot of friends that live in Nashville, and one thing they say to me is creativity is brewing there, man. Always.
Oh yeah. Yep, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys are going to be a hot commodity there. People are going to be like, we got to get those guys in here singing on this. We got to get them writing on this. We got to, you know what I'm saying? I could feel it.
Well, we hope so, and we're honored that has happened for us. And I'm going to be walking while I'm talking to you because we're at the studio, so hopefully that's okay.
Oh, you're at the studio, right? Oh, you're in the studio.
Yeah, we're in the studio, right? We just finished the session right before it's time to do our Zoom with you.
Wow. What studio is that? It looks cool.
It's called the Sound Emporium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you guys met Dave Cobb yet?
Yeah, we're actually headed to a session right now with him.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Wow, man. He's like my favorite producer, and I've been trying to get him on the podcast for like 2 years.
Yeah, we're leaving as we speak right now.
Oh my God. Tell that guy to do my podcast.
Sure will.
Well, I'm going to be out to Nashville sometime soon, and hit me on Instagram, and I'll give you my phone number, and we'll exchange info, and I'll come visit you guys. It'll be amazing to meet you face to face.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Thank you so much for doing this for us, and just even acknowledging our music and putting us on your podcast. We're so honored.
I cannot wait for people to hear the whole record, and I can't wait to hear the whole record, and I will be shouting it out like mad. And it comes out on September 25th, which this drops Monday. So it came out already, you dummies. Get it. Uh-oh. You got the mask.
You got the mask on.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I absolutely love you guys. And you're such an inspiration. It's mind-boggling how much you inspire me right now from just this podcast. And I love your music, and I love what you guys do. And hopefully you'll come see me do some comedy out there in Nashville at Zany's or something sometime.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You guys big comedy fans?
Oh, yeah.
I bet you guys are, because you're so hopeful all the time. It's that's gotta be your story's nuts, man. I'm gonna see it on the big screen one day. I know I am. All right, so your Instagram is the Warren Treaty, correct?
Yes, the Warren Treaty.
Yeah.
Twitter is at Warren Treaty, and then Facebook, of course, is
the Warren Treaty. Yep.
Right. Yep. And I follow you guys, and I will be promoting you guys all year long. I love you. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
so much. And I'll tell Dave.
Yeah, tell that Dave Cobb that we have a million mutual friends. Jay from the Rival Sons is a good friend of his, and I've been trying to get him on the podcast, man. It's nuts. And I think he's one of the greatest producers in the last 40 years. So you guys working with him.
We headed to him now. I'll make sure I tell him.
Man. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I love you guys. See you later.
Thank you. Love you too.
Love to you too.
See ya.